On this episode of My Last Two Brain Cells.
You close deals in the DMs.
Yeah.
Deals are done in the DMs.
It goes down in the DMs.
It goes down in the DMs. It does.
So yeah, you ready?
Yeah, we can start.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to
My Last Two Brain Cells.
I am your host, Maddie Morris.
And I'm also your host, Elliot Morris.
And guess what happened last week, you guys?
You won't even believe
We
it.
had such a good streak going, and then we missed an episode because I was actually on my deathbed.
Madison was so sick, and then we also had a trip planned with Caleb and Mo, who we run the coffee shop with, for San Diego, and so Madison was still sick when we were driving to San Diego.
I was so unbelievably sick. I taught a group class.
It was bad.
I taught a group class, and me and Katie both got sick, which makes sense. I mean, we're talking for 15 hours straight with setup and takedown and everything, and everyone's flying in from out of town. You're stuffed in that little room. So Katie and I got sick, and then we went to San Diego, and I was still sick, but I was like, I would rather be sick on a road trip and having fun with my friends than having sick at home.
I'd rather be sick and happy than sick and sad.
Yeah, so I just went and I just ran through the flower fields sick.
Feeling
and
a little sicko.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we missed a week, but we are back, baby.
We're back. We're good now. Madison is not ill.
No, and I never get sick. It was absolutely terrible. And we went to San Diego with Caleb and Mariah from Her Coffee Shop, and we had the cutest time ever.
Yep.
People always ask.
It was so fun.
People always ask, what's it like being in business with your friends? And honestly, it's the funnest thing in the world.
It's awesome.
Because we went to 10 coffee shops, and we
just
got new ideas for the merch wall, and we got home and just started ordering a bunch of stuff and switching up our events and our Instagram, and it just was really
it was fun.
such a positive trip.
And you'll notice if you're watching the video that we are holding our mics today because Caleb and Mo, turns out the coffee table that we were using is theirs. I didn't know that. I thought it was ours.
We just had a coffee table back here, and turns out it was theirs. And
they moved and took our coffee table. So now we have to improvise. So we'll figure something out.
We got this one. Alrighty, you guys. I had a very highly requested episode today. This is from you guys. You guys wanted this. I didn't want to talk about this, but everyone, when I did a survey, needed help with this.
Yep.
It's just something that a lot of people universally struggle with, starting a business out on their own. And I totally understand and relate because I too struggled with this for many, many years. And that is client boundaries. That is how to set client boundaries, where to draw the line on certain things, having your own boundaries, having friendships with clients. A lot of people struggle with it, and I got a lot of questions, and it just really is a pain point for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And Elliot has watched me in the beginning. I mean, starting out, I never started out in this industry as a business owner by any means. I just very much started out as a service provider, and boundaries are something that they'll never teach you in school. They really won't teach you at a salon job. If anything, most salon jobs are going to
they want you to push your boundaries.
They want you to push those boundaries, baby.
They're like, you need to make them love you. Make your clients fall in love with you so that they keep coming back.
Yeah, and my first salon...
Lead them on.
And my first salon job, I mean,
Whisper sweet nothings into their ear while you lash them.
My first salon job was no boundaries. I mean, it was just absolute chaos. So I want to talk a little bit about how important it is to have some boundaries in place for your business. A few points I wanted to touch on. This will be a mini episode. Number one is I want to touch on that policies and boundaries are two completely different things.
Facts.
And people are always like, I have so many boundaries in place for my business. Wow. But that just means they have 50 policies in a list on their Instagram or their website, which people don't read, and they just look through. And boundaries are a completely separate thing. Boundaries are like the lines within yourself that you set, that you have a level of respect for yourself and your time and your business. It's deeper than just policies.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's rules for how you conduct yourself in your business.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. We talked a lot about boundaries in marriage counseling, and it's just so important to have boundaries for your own self, your own heart, your own mental health, your family, your friendships, all of these things. And it's such a healthy thing. And boundaries are loving. Boundaries mean that I love you enough to have to have a healthy relationship with you. And that also goes into our business with our clients. So number one, when it comes to policies, I'm talking about things that you have in place like no-show fees and cancellation fees, 24-hour fees, aftercare instructions, all that sort of stuff. Those are policies. Those are not boundaries. And I recommend having few of them. I don't recommend having a long list of policies at all.
Because if you have a ton of boundaries, you're inevitably going to start breaking them, and then you have no boundaries. So just have a couple that are actually really important
that
to
are
you.
Easy for clients to follow and easy for you to communicate. Yeah. Like people always ask me my policies. I want to be able to tell them my policies in 20 seconds or less.
Yeah.
When
yeah, that's policies. But then like with boundaries too, it's like find the 3 or 4 things that you really care about and then just focus on that. Because like we as humans are dumb. We cannot keep 1,000 things in our head and think about them all the time. So if you're like, okay, I'm gonna have this boundary and this boundary and this boundary, it's confusing.
Yeah,
it's not fun. It's not nice.
Have a couple, babe.
Just have a couple that are important and then stick to those, and then everything else, who cares?
Totally. Policies that I'll talk about mine, and then you can adjust these to suit your business.
Boundaries or policies?
Policies.
Starting with policies because they're simple and people overcomplicate them, and I'm here to simplify them for you. Think about what you need to do your best work, right? That is how you should have it in your mind. Like, what do I need from my clients, this 50-50 relationship, in order for me to do my best work? And don't look at what anyone else's policies in the area are, because most likely you're going to go to a website that just has like text, and you have to check 1 million boxes before you can even think about booking with them. And like I said, you need to be very easy to book with. Very easy to book with. And the less obstacles you have in your way, the better. And policies can be a huge obstacle for people. I know for me, when I go to book an appointment and there's a lot of policies, I feel like it's an obstacle. I feel like I could do anything wrong at any second. They could fire me at any second. I'll never be like a good enough client, to meet all these things. Especially if someone has like something come up in their life. So for policies, for me to do my best work, I needed everyone to come in on time with clean lashes. Right? That's a policy. Easy.
If someone showed up late, I actually didn't have like a late fee or anything like that, and I wouldn't recommend having a late fee if you're a lash artist. If a client shows up late, I know. If a client shows up late, I recommend doing what you can for the time that they have given you. It will hurt them because they're not going to get the quality of work that they could if they came on time for their appointment, and they're still going to be paying full price for the appointment.
What do you say to the like counter argument to that you don't want to put work out there that you're not 100% happy with? I think that would be if it becomes a habit for someone, I would no longer take them as a client. Yeah.
If it was like a one-time thing, like a client says, hey girl, I'm going to be 15 minutes late. I am in crazy traffic. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's just going to cut into their appointment time. Mm-hmm. So I would know that it's going to cut into their appointment time. And they know that. I would always just say like, no worries, girl. I'll wait for you. Drive safely. Mm-hmm. And then when they get here 15 minutes late, if you're an efficient lash artist, right? Mm-hmm. You're skilled at what you do. You can do great work with 15 minutes cut out of it.
Yeah. You just give them a little less coverage. They don't last as long, but they still look good.
Yes. And that's why it's so important that you're giving yourself ample time to start with. If you're only giving yourself hour fills.
Yeah, if you're giving yourself time to give your clients 100% coverage and then they're like 15 minutes late, you're like, okay, well, I can only give you 80% coverage this time. It's like, it's still going to be good.
Yeah, I think people get so stressed about it and they have late fees and everything like that if they're not giving them, like if they need every single second of that appointment to do their best work.
So yeah, if you, maybe we could say, if you feel the need to not let clients not take clients if they're late or to charge late fees, maybe you're not giving yourself enough time. Generally,
that's good. That's very smart. Because
there is also a point, right, where you won't take them if they're like 30 minutes late.
Of course.
To a 1 hour fill.
Of course.
So where is that line, do you think?
For me, it's about like 20 minutes. Yeah, because my fills physically take me I would say like an hour 10 to do, truly, like to get everyone completely full. And I would always give myself an hour and a half. And so I have that buffer time, and my clients were never late, and nor did I ever expect them to be late, but there was that buffer time. If something ever did happen,
stuff happens.
It wouldn't ruin my entire day if they were a little bit late.
If you're seeing someone every 3 weeks for their entire life, there's going to be 1 or 2 times that like
Yeah,
something happens.
Of course,
know?
you can't expect perfection from clients, but you can expect them to be respectful human beings that you trust and they trust you. So give yourself a little extra time for appointments. If someone is late, I don't recommend having a fee or anything like that, or having to explain it to them over text. Just say, sounds good, drive safe, I'll wait for you. As long as it's in the next like 15 minutes.
Period.
Yeah, obviously if they're like 45 minutes late, they've missed their appointment. Sorry, babes. Sorry, babes.
Sorry, babes. You're not coming.
Yeah, but I mean, they're paying for the entire appointment, or at least you should charge them for the full appointment. Definitely don't give anyone a discount if they're late. My goodness, because it's still.
Oh yeah, no. I know someone listening right now has done that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that. It's them.
If
It's
someone
them.
misses
It's
half
fault.
their appointment, don't charge them half
Don't
the
say,
service.
"Oh, I'll give you a 30-minute film." No, don't do it.
Sorry,
you
babes.
played yourself.
Yeah, my policies are show up on time with clean lashes and be good to your lashes and let's be friends. All good. That's really that was really my policies. I personally think policies like children.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, I think policies like children and dogs are really up to the service provider. I don't think it should be like,
if you like dogs and your space that you rent allows dogs, then sure. If the space that you rent doesn't allow dogs, obviously then say, hey, the space that I rent doesn't allow dogs.
That policy is completely up to like you and your situation of like where you conduct business at. For me, I have always allowed children and dogs. I just have a no boyfriends policy. I don't want your crusty ass boyfriend, hovering at your feet, giving you a foot massage.
Because it's never the nice ones. It's always the boyfriends who are like just staring at you and like so weird. Because the nice boyfriends are like, oh, I'll just go grab coffee.
Literally. So that's truly my thing. The thing is if you are conducting a luxury service, for me, I feel like true luxury is being able to like
accommodate.
To be able to accommodate, have a comfortable service. And if someone has a well-behaved child or like a baby or something like that, I want my clients to feel comfortable and not feel stressed coming to their appointment. I always say, and I've always made sure that I'm in a space where it could be comfortable for a guest. Someone could sit quietly. Someone could have like a beautiful, relaxing space, with a bathroom or a lobby. And if someone has a kid that's well-behaved, I am always happy to have them in the room with me.
Oh, yeah. Toss on some Miss Rachel.
Yeah, right.
They're good.
Yeah, throw on some Cocoa Melon, babe.
Throw on some Cocoa Melon.
And those
are
are
good.
clients that guaranteed you will have them for a very long time.
Yeah,
true. I love accommodating like new moms.
Oh, yeah.
Or just someone that like.
Especially if it's like a new mom. They're like, this is the only luxury I have.
That's
They'll
luxury to me.
True.
And if that just absolutely stresses you out, then put that in your policies. For me, I'm totally comfortable having my clients bring their small, well-behaved dogs to take a little nap.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's bringing their Labrador Retriever to their lash appointment.
Remember those TikToks from that one guy? What is it, Charles? Where he's like, things that aren't luxury that I think are luxurious.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I think luxury is being comfortable at your appointment. So I want my clients to always feel like they are top priority and I care about them and I don't want them to feel yelled at all. That being said, I think going through and not looking at anyone else's policies and just doing what is right for your business. So what was right for my business was always like allowing people a little bit of grace, a little bit of leeway if they were late, and allowing them to bring their children, allowing them to bring I personally didn't. I had a policy, like I had a no guest policy for a long time because for me, in my business, when I audited my business, a lot of people were bringing their boyfriends and I didn't like it because a lot of the time boyfriends think lashes take 20 minutes to do and they want to sit right next to you and they want to ask a million questions. And so I was cool with that for a while and then it just got way too distracting, didn't love it. And so, but I was always kind about it. And if anyone ever came with their significant other, I would make sure they had a comfortable lobby to be in and spend time with. Even when I was back in Alaska, I would always be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming. So nice to meet you. What's your name? Get their name, say hello, say how are you. And then I always say, oh my gosh, you can totally just chill out here for a while. And then at the end, thank them for being patient. Like that's really the nicest way to go about it. Because sometimes people will come with their husband or boyfriend. And if I feel comfortable with it,
if they're chill.
If I feel comfortable with it and they're chill and it's not an every appointment thing, I will allow someone's husband to sit in the room if it's like a mini fill or something.
Girl, your policies are up to you.
They're up to you.
Make policies. If you want something to happen, make that your policy.
Yeah.
It's your business.
Yeah. And there can always be like an exception to the rule, right? So if you have like, just like on your policies, like no guests, but one time, like the other day, I had one of my client who's like in her 60s and she brought her husband because they were running errands together that day. She had a mini fill, 45-minute fill. And she was like, oh, can he come sit in the room? And I was like, sure. And he sat down and he was so polite. I mean, this is a man in his 60s,
Yeah, what's he going to do?
And he was so kind. He was like, I love like, my wife's eyelashes, and she always, brags about how much she loves seeing you. And I just like, and he just got to know me, and we just chatted the same way I would chat to her. It was very, very pleasant. But I think 5 years ago, I would not be comfortable with a man just like sitting there the entire time. But now, 7 years later, if he's chill, if
he can hang, he can hang.
He can hang. Yeah. I think policies that are way too much is if you have more than like 5 policies, or if you have like rescheduling fees. I think rescheduling fees are a little overkill.
Rescheduling fees are kind of chuggy.
Yeah, especially if you have a loyal clientele. Like if you are catering to more of a clientele that is like walk-ins and quick appointments.
If you're getting appointments, if you're setting up like first-time appointments from like you're running ads or something, like having deposits are good. Having a deposit are good.
I'm talking about like if you have a regular client that is like, hey girl, I can't make it next Tuesday. Can we do next Wednesday? And you're like, yeah. Just send me $45.
No.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's how you lose clients.
It is. You want to be convenient to book with, and you want to be self-assured enough that you know that you can get someone in at that time as well. So the appointments, you're probably wondering, what do you charge for? One, I require a deposit for new clients.
Good.
Yep. Not for regular clients. For new clients, I call it the first date. First date. You don't know them. You just want to ensure that they're going to show up on time. Absolutely. I also don't rebook no-shows.
Yeah, no call, no show.
And this is a strict policy. Like I know that I sound lenient on a lot of other things, and that's because I'm curating a clientele that is very respectful, so I allow them to have a little leeway. But I am very, very stern, especially since I moved to Arizona, because in Alaska, I always dealt with no-shows, and it was that I was dealing with no-shows incorrectly. Yeah. I was rebooking no-shows. I was accommodating no-shows. I would always just be like, oh my gosh, that's okay, girl, no worries. But I would have a 3-hour gap in the middle of my busy week. And so now, ever since I moved to Arizona, I don't rebook no-shows. If someone misses their first appointment with me,
they're done.
You'll never see me again. And
True. And part of it too, one thing that's important if you're gonna have that policy is to send like reminder texts.
Yeah.
Just because like if someone books with you like 2 weeks ago and then you don't send them any texts, you don't send them a text the night before or day of, a lot of people are gonna forget.
People are human.
Like
yes.
Unless someone put it in their calendar. Like if someone forgot to put it in their calendar and you don't send them any reminders and then they don't show, I feel like that's kind of on you.
Yeah. On your end, have
do everything you can on your end.
Yes.
And then if they don't show, then you're like, okay, it's not me. It's you.
Yeah. Because no showing, I will say this, no showing is a habit. If I'm talking about new clients, like if you have a regular client, if I had a regular client that didn't show up, I would assume.
I would
assume that they got hit by a car.
Exactly.
And I would act accordingly.
Yeah, exactly.
If I have one of my regular clients show up, I will never text them and be like, hey, where are you? Because
hey, are you okay?
Because they've gotten my confirmation email when they booked an appointment, or
they know.
Or we've,
and you don't have to send them like text yourself. You can have like an automated system to do it. For sure.
My clients just get an email from my website.
Exactly.
And they can accept or decline the appointment.
Exactly. True.
Especially if you have a way where they can like change the appointment themselves. That's really, really great.
That's super nice. I think you can do that with Square.
Yeah, but if I have a regular client no-show me, I send them a text and I act as if they died.
Maybe they're sick. Maybe a family member just died. Maybe they had to take their dog to the hospital.
I send them the kindest text and I just say like,
you don't know.
Hey, is everything okay? Just making sure.
But if they said, oh my gosh, girly, I was so blasted last night and I overslept, you're done. You're done. You're done.
Yeah, but usually, I mean, it's just something terrible happened, honestly,
Yeah.
if it's a regular client. But if it's a new client, it just is a habit usually. Typically, they booked an appointment and they just decided to book with someone else, or they, went on vacation, forgot. If they got a text and just like decided not to show up, that is not a client that you want on your bed. That's not a client that you want to be talking to every other week.
Yeah.
It's a habit. It really is. And so I think your tolerance for that should be very low.
True.
So yeah, those are my policies. where to put them. I think a lot of people are confused where to put their policies. Because a lot of people have them scattered all over their Instagram. They have a highlight of their policies. They have them in their bio, especially. And the most important place and the only place to have your policies should be on your booking site as they're booking.
Yes.
Because you go.
And putting them on your website, make sure that they aren't the thing that shows up when someone Googles your website. Because I've seen that. You don't want that. You don't want someone to Google my Sarah's lashes, and then the first thing that comes up is no guests, no pets, come with.
Yeah.
It's like,
make sure your like tagline for your website is like the luxurious lash experience you've always been dreaming of, girl. Come and see me at Sarah's Beauty Studio.
It should be a page on your website or like part of the booking flow on your website. Like they have to agree to the policies, like something like that. Don't make it like the first thing. You don't want it to be the first thing anyone says.
Basically your Instagram or your Facebook page or whatever it is should be like a magazine for a potential client. So when a lead or a potential client sees your Instagram, they should see your beautiful work, pictures of your space, and pictures of who you are. They should have a bio that they can see what you specialize in. You know, if anything, you can put like accepting new clients, book here. You know, accepting new clients, schedule a consultation. Accepting new clients, message me. Whatever it is.
Absolutely.
But if you don't accept DMs, number one, you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
Wait, people do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have your DMs open, girl.
Come on. Yeah, have your DMs open.
It's 2023.
Don't say no DMs because you're alienating like half the people that wanted to message you.
Madison still has her DMs open, and she gets 5,000 a day.
I respond to every single DM
and
I get.
I've been telling Madison, I'm like, you gotta slow down. Like, stop responding to so many of these. Like, it takes so much time, but she's still doing
assistant,
it.
Baby.
If she can do it, you can.
So can you. Literally, I mean, I get like 150 DMs a day, and even if I just respond with like some heart emojis and like a thanks girl, that took 1 millisecond, made someone feel good. You know, if a client reaches out to you on DMs, that is a huge opportunity to speak to them. And I have a little I had a little guide that I wrote a long time ago called Seducing Your Potential Clients.
Yeah. And you'll get it if you sign up to the email list.
Yeah, if you sign up to the email list, you can get it. But it basically walks you through, like, if somebody inquires about your services through DMs, how to answer their questions and how to seal the deal with them.
You close deals in the DMs.
Yeah.
Deals are done in the DMs.
It goes down in the DMs.
It goes down in the DMs. It does.
So, yeah, your policies should be clear and on your booking website. And then when they go to book an appointment, just have a little box that says, like, I accept the policies and terms and conditions and all this sort of stuff. And if they're really, really long and no one's going to read them, but if they're really short, people will actually read them.
Yeah. It shouldn't look like an end user license agreement.
Yeah.
It
shouldn't look like what comes up on your new iPhone when you open it. And
don't
like
do that.
The Apple terms of service.
No one's going to read it.
I don't think a single person has read that in the entire world.
No, I don't think anyone has.
No.
Well, I know there's lawyers that their job is to do that, but I think they're the only ones.
Absolutely. And last thing I wanted to talk about is kind of how friendly to be, because I encourage people to treat their clients as people and treat their clients as friends. But when you have friendships that are paying clients, the lines can become a little bit blurry. And so I think that it's important to be friendly with all your clients, genuinely care about them. But there are things that you should like not do with clients, for example. So I am friends with a select group of my clients outside of work.
Madison.
I will say that.
Madison.
Yes. I don't have like friends that became my clients. Like I don't have like back when I was starting out, like people from my hometown, I didn't have people that I went to high school with just like booking a lot with me. Like it would very rarely happen. But I've had a lot of clients that have turned to friends. And that's because we had such great rapport in the room. I really got to know them. When you're seeing someone every 2 weeks, like that's a very, very...
You see them more than most people.
Yeah, I see my clients more than I see my friends.
Yeah.
And so you should be developing valuable personal relationships with these people if you want to keep them long term. But I wouldn't recommend, like, one, going out and getting drunk with your clients.
Don't do that.
Huge no. I just think like things can get
cringe.
Yeah.
It's cringe. Don't do it.
I think it can get very tricky if a client like sets you up with someone.
Ooh, yeah, because then it's like if you break up with
what
them,
if it doesn't work out?
Then you have to break up with the client.
Yes, I did have a client set me up with someone that didn't work out.
Oh, that's rough.
I know. I like things like that. And I also think like if a client after their first appointment is like, "Girl, we should totally hang out," don't do that.
Do it. If after seeing them for 6 months, you guys like talk a bunch, you get along great, you guys, you think your husbands would get along, then be like, okay, we could go get dinner or something. That's the thing.
Just learn to be discerning.
Not the first time, though.
Learn to be discerning, especially, I would recommend no matter what age you are, I'd be very wary with hanging out with clients that are the same age as you.
Ooh.
Same
really?
friend.
Interesting.
Yes.
You did that one time. It still works.
It depends. It really depends. You have to be discerning.
Yeah, true.
Like if you have a client that it can be very exciting when a client comes in and they're the same age as you and they maybe want to hang out, they want to get drinks, they want you to like meet their new boyfriend, they want to set you up. Whatever it is, I would just maintain that friendliness, but once it leaves the room, it can get a little
Cut it off.
Yeah, because what if they no-show you? What then?
Oh, that'd put a little.
What then? Do you charge them? Do you charge their card? What if they awkward?
But just avoid the awkward.
But I'm very discerning with the people that I hang out outside of work, because sometimes your clients can become like the bestest friends you'll ever have in your life. One of my clients, her husband ended up being like Elliot's groomsman in our wedding.
That's true.
Like like you really have to be discerning. I would say wait about
we're doing a startup together.
Yes.
Me and him.
I would say like wait about 6 to 8 months of like consistent appointments, full price. These are people that like aren't doing Groupons or anything, like full price. They genuinely just want to see you for your service. If you have very, very similar values and interests and morals and like you align on it pretty much everything, I would say you can have great relationships outside of work. Just keep it somewhat.
But you know what's interesting with her? She stopped seeing you for services once you became friends. And I think that did make it a lot easier.
Yeah, they should be able to come and go. Like, you don't want your friendship to rely on them and your client.
I feel like it was easier for us to be friends after she stopped seeing you, because then it's just like, oh, we're just normal friends now.
Yeah.
It's just chill.
It really depends on the person. In Alaska, I hung out with one client outside of the lash table in 5 years. That was it. I never, ever hung out with a client outside of the lash table except for that one time, because every single appointment, it was so apparent how similar we were, and our lives were similar, and our husbands had similar interests. And also, if you're not just boyfriends, if you like have a husband and someone else like, you know, wants to go on a double date, like I feel like that's a little more a fish.
Yeah.
Than like, oh, I just started dating this guy, like we just had to hang out.
Oh, don't hang out with your clients like boyfriends of 2 weeks.
Yes.
Don't do it.
But I would say after like 6 to 8 months, I have amazing. When I moved to Arizona, I had quite a few clients that wanted to hang out outside of work, and like so we went on a double date with one of my clients and her husband, and they are like in their like late 50s 60s. And I've done that a few times. Yeah. And I have quite a few clients outside of work where like I'll attend their baby shower, their birthday party, things that are like a big group of people. You know, maybe they invite their hairstylist, maybe they invite their nanny, their lash artist, like people that are close to them in their life. That's kind of the circle that is really, really comfortable to be in. But you don't want to be going out and getting blasted with your clients. I guarantee it will not end well. Yeah.
I agree.
And I also wanted to talk about boundaries. These are not policies. Boundaries are just kind of like the rules you have within yourself, where you just set like a standard for your life. And kind of what you are willing to accept. And so boundaries, I would say, are like if you have a client that maybe oversteps in conversation, like says something really, really inappropriate, or consistently talks about like politics and you're uncomfortable, or or consistently just makes you feel uncomfortable. They ask you things that are way too personal, maybe about your family, your relationships, whatever it is. If you ever feel uncomfortable, it is okay to not take that client anymore. And there were many, many times where I wish I did that and I didn't.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's cringe.
Yeah. And I would say I'm the kind of lash artist where like I will talk to you about personal stuff. Like if you want to open up to me and you want to tell me about like your divorce or your relationship or your kids or like anything like that, that is a safe space. The room is safe and that's confidential, and like I'll listen to that all day. But it's when it starts to encroach on like your peace and your life, if it ever becomes too much for you, it's okay to kind of reel that conversation back, and you can take control of that. This is an appointment that you are conducting. Don't let the client conduct it for you. You know, when someone comes through your doors, you should have the opportunity to kind of create a positive conversation and just get comfortable doing that. And so if someone ever says something that is just so out of pocket, like don't be afraid to change the conversation. If it keeps happening and you're really, really uncomfortable, I would just send the text one day. I've had to help a lot of lash artists with that. A lot of people message me and they're like, hey girl, I have no idea what to do.
How do I break up with them?
Yeah, because then it's kind of a breakup. You're not really firing them. It's just kind of a breakup. You know, they're not the one.
Hey, this ain't gonna work.
This ain't gonna work, babes.
It is you.
Yeah. And there have been times where, I mean, honestly, it's best to do over text. It's very awkward in person.
Oh, over text is easier.
I would just send a text along the lines of like, hey, Marianne, I have absolutely appreciated your business over the last 6 months. I think you are an absolutely amazing lady. I'm so thankful for our time together. Unfortunately, I
do not want to keep talking about the flat earth, and I will I have a list of really great referrals for you.
Whatever
so
it is. Just keep it sweet and short and sweet, but just I have a really great list of referrals that I think are going to be a better fit for you going forward.
Maybe you know some flat earther lash artists that they could get along really well.
Yeah, and if you're comfortable enough and you have that kind of relationship, I would maybe just make it known over that text, like there's some things you've said that have made me a little uncomfortable, and I think going forward there's going to be a better fit for you and another artist. Keep it short and sweet.
Easy.
You never know if that person is going to come back and be like, I'm so sorry. I'm so out of line. I'm really sorry. You know?
Would you take them back?
Depends on the person.
Wow.
1,000,000%. But if it's just like too far gone, you're like, I can't.
No.
You know, then just be like, thank you so much. I totally understand. No hard feelings. It's not personal. You know, I really wish you the best of luck. Keep it profesh. Yep. Any other last things you want to touch on boundaries and policies?
I think a good boundary is to not accept any stinky clients. If they're stinky, just one appointment's enough.
They're out, babes.
They're out. Madison had a stinky client once. It was so bad.
It's the last appointment.
It was the last appointment. Yeah, because it's like if
someone's stinking up the building.
No, if you have a client who you dread seeing them, fire them. That is a good boundary.
That is a good boundary.
If you don't want to see someone, don't see them.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah, we did a client purge when we moved into Lightheart with like pretty much everyone in the building, because there were a lot of lash artists moving, and we're like, I have so many clients that just like really, you know, are starting to wear on me and like hurt my business and make me want to cry at the end of the appointment. I'm like, girl, don't bring them into Lightheart.
Yeah, we do not accept that energy here.
No, you leave those babies at the last.
It's called Lightheart for a reason.
Yeah, your heart should be lighthearted. So we did like a client purge, and anyone that just was like terrible energy, we all like mass sent that text, you know, that was just like, hi beautiful, unfortunately going forward.
Yeah, it's like a Botox party, but you're all just breaking up with your clients.
Truly. And that's okay, because like this is a business where you want to have longevity, and you know, after a while, if you're fully booked, like you even if you're newer, like even if you're new to taking clients, you don't have to take anything. You don't have to just take crap from anyone.
Nah.
You set your business up for success. So don't think just because you're new and you're starting out, you just have to take anyone that walks through the door and treats you like, you know, doo-doo. Stand up for yourself, set good boundaries. And then once you have those comfortable boundaries in place, you can bend the rules a little bit for the people that are your people. Trust and respect are so much more important than a list of policies.
Don't be a slave to your policies. Mm-hmm. Let your policies work for you.
Let your policies be a guide.
Yeah. Yes. And your policies are there to help you. If you feel like one of your policies, you're like, I don't know about this, take it off.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be
there.
If
they're too strict for you and you're just like mimicking what someone else had on their website.
Yeah, your policy should be like how you are. If you're like, I don't care if they're 15 minutes late, it's fine. Then don't have that policy. Don't have it be a policy.
Yeah. If it's like I don't know, if you have like something that's just like a big deal for you, like you say like you want to require masks and no one else requires masks, if that's like a huge deal for you, that can be your thing. It doesn't matter what.
You might have less clients, but if you care about it, then do it.
The thing is like this is your business, and if you're independent at the end of the day, you have the last word of what flies in your room.
And the thing is too, all policies are to some extent going to limit the amount of clients you have. Like they are all negative.
If you have no policies, you will have
more clients, but your life will suck, so it's not worth it.
Yeah,
but
pick and choose your policies.
Yeah,
wisely.
you gotta pick the policies you care about. The stuff you don't care about, don't have it be policies, because you're gonna get more clients the fewer policies you have. But you want your life to be good, you know.
Yeah.
So no stinky clients, no talking about politics.
Unless you're into that.
Unless you're, I mean, I guess maybe it worked for Black Rifle Coffee. You know,
Yeah.
they were like, you know what, we're gonna be a political coffee
Yeah.
company, and then they
I'm-
got people who were into that.
I'm more than happy talking about politics with my clients, but I'm also
Yeah.
like a different.
You're something else.
I truly will, because I think like no matter what side of any issue you're on, I think
Yeah.
like if you can entertain an idea without accepting
be
it.
agreeable about it. If
Be-
you want
yeah.
to talk about politics,
Like I'm a pretty agreeable person,
Yeah.
and if someone wants to entertain an idea with me, or they're like they feel very strongly about something, they come in and they're just guns ablazing about a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can either like if I agree with that thing, that's something we can really bond
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Or if I
That's
don't
great.
agree on it, that's something
It's
that like I can
tell me more about this.
I learn to comfortably entertain it
Yeah.
without accepting it. And if it's if they're just like wackos and it really makes you uncomfortable, then you can shut it down, you know?
You're like, I don't know
Yeah.
about this.
But I have some lash artists that that I know that they just like cannot handle it. Like it just like it really really eats away
Oh yeah,
at them.
and like that's the thing. If that's something that like makes you really uncomfortable talking about politics, then
know
that's,
yourself.
That's a boundary. Don't talk about politics.
Yeah, and clients over the age of 70, they love
And-
talking about politics.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's true. That's true on both sides. On both
my
sides, it doesn't
goodness.
matter what kind of politics they have. They love talking
Yeah,
about them.
I had an older clientele quite a few years
Ooh,
ago.
yeah.
Oh my heavens! I was like, you know what? Like
Every day she came home, she's like, "Did you hear about this?" I'm like, "No,
just random conspiracies on both ends. I would just be
Yeah.
entertaining anything.
True.
But that's a good trait to have. Like honestly, if you're
Oh yeah, it's like a podcast at that point.
yeah, because
You're
then
just
your
hanging
clients,
out.
they get comfy and they just
Yeah,
like feel
that's
like they're never judged by you. You're their girl.
Facts.
Yeah, people can tell me the most insane conspiracy theory that they came up with, and I'll be like, "Girl, that is wild. Tell me more."
Tell me more.
know?
Yes.
You don't have to agree with everything your clients say. Like
No.
if they're great people and
No, that's the thing.
you
Yeah.
love 'em?
Like if your client's saying something that's whack that you don't believe, like you do not agree with them, you don't have to tell them you don't agree. You can just say, "Dang, that's crazy."
hit them with the
Wow.
damn. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's crazy. Wow.
Sometimes,
really?
Sometimes I'll be on my 30th, like, dang, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, you can just respond without agreeing. Like
Yeah,
you don't have
totally.
to do that. I mean, I do that a ton. Like we'll run into people when we were living at the apartment, we'd run into people all the time that had like they were out there and I'd just be like, "Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh." Crazy. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you're doing this job, you have a
yeah,
lot
I
of
don't
people
know.
come through your door.
Yep.
hmm
Good episode.
Good episode.
Good app.
Hope this is helpful to you guys.
I hope it was helpful.
Yeah.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good episode. Next episode is going to be on budgeting, finances for lash artists.
Yeah, you're
'Cause
not
a lot of
gonna-
people were asking about that.
Yeah. This week we want to hit all the topics that you guys wanted to hear, and so I took the majority of topics that like you guys were just like really really interested in.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
we're gonna
Well,
give it to you
love
guys.
it.
Love you guys.
Love
Talk
you
to you
guys so
later.
much. Bye-bye.
Smooches.